The biggest mistake people make with GPT-5 and Gemini 3 is assuming they solve problems the same way. They don't. And also, they think in a completely different directions. Before we talk about prompts or workflows or best practices, we need to talk about how these two models actually think. Because once you understand this, everything else becomes obvious. Here's the shift. GPT-5 and Gemini 3 aren't just trained differently, they process information differently at a fundamental level. Think of it like this. Gemini 3 is built to absorb the world. It designs to take in huge, sprawling inputs, documents, screenshots, logs, videos, transcripts, and understand them as one big multimedia puzzle. Its strength isn't just handling messy stuff. Its strength is building a complete picture from a massive amount of raw signal. Even if that signal is chaotic, unorganized, or mixed across formats. On the other hand, GPT-5 is built to think deeply once it has the right information. It's optimized for reasoning, planning, logic, narrative structures, all the things that requires careful mental organization. GPT-5 doesn't want to absorb the world, it wants to analyze it. It's built to take a clean, focused input and then run with it, breaking it down, solving it, and producing something thoughtful and detailed. So while people online love debating which model is better, that's not a useful question. They're not playing the same position. One is synthesis engine, great at understanding huge amount of information, and the other is a reasoning engine, great at solving complex problems once the information is clear. This is the real distinction between Gemini 3 and GPT-5, and once you see it, you stop treating the models like rivals and start treating them like different tools in the same toolkit. Now that we've understand how GPT-5 thinks, let's talk about how to talk to it. Because GPT-5 doesn't just respond to instructions, it responds to well-designed instructions. This model thrives when your prompts gives it a role, a mission, a structure, almost like you're briefing a highly skilled operator. So the first step is framing. Tell GPT-5 exactly who it is. Is it an engineer, a strategist, a writer, a researcher? These roles shape the way it reasons, and GPT-5 picks up on them instantly. Next, define the audience. Who is this for? A CEO, a customer, a developer, a general viewer? Just naming the audience gives GPT-5 a sense of tone, depth, and the kind of language it should use. Then structure. GPT-5 loves structure. If you want sections, ask for section. If you want bullets, ask for bullets. If you want JSON, a numbered list, an outline, a step-by-step workflow. What you'll notice is that GPT-5 doesn't just fill in the structure, it reasons through the structure. That's where its powers show up. Another thing people forget is that models matter. If you just want speed, quick rewrites, quick answers, quick drafting, use instant mode. But when the task requires depth, logic, planning, architecture, narrative, problem solving, switch to thinking mode. It's slower, but it unlocks deeper reasoning layer that GPT-5 was built for. And here's the pro move. Build reusable patterns. If you have a certain type of memo, certain critic format, certain workflow style you use often, teach GPT-5 that platform once, then call back to it by name. With GPT-5, don't focus on feeding its information. Focus on designing the job. Give it a clear identity, clear audience, a clear shape of output, and the right mode. And you'll see the version of GPT-5 that feels sharp, confident, and incredibly capable. Now that we've covered GPT-5 playbook, let's shift to the model that works it almost the opposite way. Gemini 3. Gemini 3 becomes powerful the moment you stop giving it tiny prompts and start giving it the full picture. If GPT-5 wants directions, Gemini 3 wants context, real context, the big context. This model is designed to work like a wide-angle lens. It understands the story best when it can see everything at once. So the way you prompt Gemini 3 is almost the reverse of how you prompt ChatGPT 5. Think of it as handing someone the entire file folder before giving them the assignment. Gemini reads holistically. It builds a mental map of the information before it starts generating the answer. So the more complete that map is, the more accurate and guaranteed the output becomes. Next rule, label everything. If you're giving it images, name them. Image 1, dashboard. Image 2, checkout flow. If it's video, give it timestamps. If it's data, specify columns. You're helping Gemini navigate the huge context window, so it doesn't waste time guessing which part of the input you're referring to, and it works flawlessly. Now here's something most people don't realize. Gemini is concise by default. If you want narratives, ask narrative. If you want long form, ask for long form. If you want personality, specify the tone. This isn't Gemini being reluctant. This is Gemini being efficient until you request otherwise. Finally, choose your reasoning depth intentionally. Gemini can go shallow or deep depending on your needs. If you're doing extraction or labeling, keep it shallow. If you're doing cross-document insight, ask to think more deeply. Put it all together and Gemini 3 becomes an incredibly capable model when you treat like a system that thrives on complete context, clear labeling, and well-defined structure. Now that we've covered the tactical layer, let's talk about something most people overlook: your habits, the way you approach prompting in the first place. Most people struggle with AI not because they choose the wrong model, but because they use the wrong habits. And here's the truth that rarely gets talked about. Using GPT-5 and Gemini 3 isn't just about understanding the model, it's about understanding your own workflow. Because what breaks most people's results isn't the models themselves, it's the habits they bring from the model they use to the newer model they want to use. Let me explain. We all build prompting habits over time. Some of us write long story prompts, some of us write minimal prompts, and some of us dump everything in at once. And those habits follow us from the model to model without us even noticing the problem. And the problem is GPT-5 and Gemini 3 reward opposite behaviors. So if you use the same prompting style for both, you're guaranteed to get weird and disappointing outputs. Here's the habit shift in the simplest term. With GPT-5, you do most of the work before the prompts. You organize your thoughts, you clean up your information, you get clear about the goal, you decide the structure, and then you give the model a clean, well-framed instructions. With Gemini, you do most of the work inside the prompt. You gather everything and you pour it into the prompt in one place. Then at the end, you add the instructions that tells Gemini how to proceed the whole pile. Think about your workflow like two-step process. Step 1, Gemini 3 gathers the world. It reads the screenshots, it processes the PDFs, takes this giant unorganized blob of information and turns it into a structured timeline, a summary, a clean table. Step 2, GPT-5 does the thinking. It can plan, it can write, it can make decisions, compare trade-offs, and build coherent narratives or strategies from that structure. If this breakdown helps you finally understand how to use these models instead of just comparing them, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what your workflow looks like and which one suits you the best.